Welcome to The Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a show that is a central hub and safe space for authors to share their stories. The Bold Book with Dr. Denise begins now.
Welcome back. My name is Dr. Denise Nicholson, and this podcast is for anyone looking for inspiration. Today, I have a bold author in the house. So sit back, hang tight, and we are going to dive into real stories of transformation, healing, and the boldness it takes to rise up and be transformed. I have the honor to sit down with Mr. Donald Lewis Banks from Los Angeles, California. Welcome, Donald.
Well, thank you. Greatly appreciate it, Denise. I really appreciate that. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you chose me to be here. I'm very flattered, very glad, very grateful.
Donald, your story isn't just about recovery, it's about redemption, accountability, and standing tall after the fall. Whether you're on your own healing journey or you're supporting someone who is on their journey, this episode will move you. Thank you, Donald. You are amazing. When you came to the Bold community, the Bold Authors community, or the Writing Incubator, you wanted to write a book. You had this desire to write a book, right? And with that desire, you knew it came with some responsibility. And you have a powerful title for your book which shows that you understand your assignment. The title of Donald's book is I Stand Corrected.
Right.
How I Got Sober. Donald, tell us what made you have this desire to write this book?
Well, Denise, sure, I'll be glad to. I have this desire to write this book. Well, I've had it for a long time. I didn't think that I could write a book because I kind of wasn't used to writing. But after I met you in the Bold Publishing, came a little easier. But I wrote the book because I wanted to share my experience, strength, and hope with other alcoholics and addicts, and not just the alcoholics and addicts, but the people who also that are connected to the alcoholic and addict. Because when you're connected to them, as well, for instance, if I have a drug problem, my mother knows it. Now she has a best friend, and she knows it. So I want to talk to them and the people that are actually doing it at the same time, or in the process at the same time. And so I wanted to make a book that everybody could understand, everybody could comprehend to. But I also wanted to put down some. Well, my thing was for me when I got sober, I found out that I had deep dark secrets that I was holding on to. I had things that had traumatized me and bothered me, that were detrimental to me, and I never talked about them. And what happened to me was I was with a girl one day, and we were talking and doing our thing, whatever. And she said, "Well, you can go talk to this guy, and he'll give you a couple of dollars for talking." And I just wanted to go get a couple of dollars, to give a drink or whatever. And when I went in there, she said he wants to hear
Yeah.
something deep and powerful. And for some reason, when I walked in the door, she said, "Tell him you got molested." And when I walked in there, I sat down in the seat. The guy was explaining to me what was going on. I sat down in the seat and I just blotted out. That's when I was a little boy. And the tears started rolling out of my head. If you could have had a bucket, you could have filled up a
Oh,
bucket.
wow.
That's how much, man. But after I did it, I felt so much better. But I picked it up right off. I said, that's what the
Mm.
problem is. So I started talking about other things that happened and other things that happened and other things that happened. I had no idea that I was going to be for telling this story. That I was going to be known all over the world for telling this story. And the guy was ran the show was telling me, he said, "We've been wanting you to come back. People want to hear a little more of your story." So I started to come back and tell a little bit more of my story, and a little bit at a time. But in doing it, as I was recovering, I started to realize that one of the main problems is we hold on where we're told as men we're told as little boys, for one. If I used to fall down and scratch my knee, you better not cry. You better get up. You better not cry. So we had to get up and hold on it in. So, and that's not
Mm.
it's not that bad. But also we have emotional things, emotional pain that men never talk about. We never talk about emotional pain. And I think
Yes.
that I think that
Hmm.
when I started telling my story, in fact, I would have people, catch me outside on the street and they would say, "Hey man," they would go, "Why did you tell those people that you did that? How could you do that? How could you do that?" Well, see, I already know that what I did was I told something that they did, they had done, something that they were ashamed of, And so when they heard me tell it, it started to come up, and I started to get an idea. Well, hey, that's how this thing's going to work. If each one teach, but if I tell something that happened to me, and it would make somebody else, tell what they had done, and that's how it started working. So I became, had an audience I had an audience all over the world. I still can't believe it. It's still surreal to me. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even listen to the show, but that's what gave me the idea. I said, if I could just write that down in a book, if I could write it down in a book, or maybe then go into my own podcast or my own business or something, and that's what gave me the idea. So actually, that's what I'm striving for. But it's for the man who's sick, the man who feels like he has no hope. The man who, because I had no hope. I had when he told me that my daughter was coming
Yes.
home, she had cocaine in her system. I died. I died. I mean, that was.
Mm. Now, how old were you when you had this daughter?
I was 30, 36, 37. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you, hmm
Yeah, because well, I tell
and
you,
and tell me about how
yeah.
that changed or impact your life that you couldn't take your daughter home after she was born.
Well, I'm trying to do the show without getting emotional, but that makes me emotional. Well, when they told me she wasn't coming home, now that day I'd been through maybe 20 programs already, alcohol programs already, and I realized that day I said something's wrong, something wrong. I really have a problem because when they told me she wasn't coming home because they found drugs in her system, the average person would have said never drink again. I went right to the liquor store, stole a bottle of wine, and went drinking wine. And when I cracked it up, I said, "Wow, what the hell are you doing?" I said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Man, I really do have a real big problem, a bad problem. What am I going to do now? I'm on the street, I have nowhere to go, nowhere to stay. I have this alcohol problem, and now I brought a baby, a soul into the world." So I said, "Well, hey, now I'm going to get sober. I'm going to do everything right, and everything's going to work."
Hmm.
I'm saying this because I'm going to go somewhere later, but I didn't realize that I was. I mean, you got to be. I was powerless over alcohol and drugs, and glass in hand or pipe in hand. That these two chemicals, whatever, had control of me. And it's hard to admit that. But if you want to get sober, you got to admit that. You got to. They would always tell me to surrender, and I would say, "Well, what do you mean?" They said, "Man, you got to surrender." And I didn't know what they meant, but what they meant. And when I surrendered, when I told the story, and when it came up, when it came out of me, it came off me, and I was,
Mm.
but previous to that, I'm gonna step a little bit back. When I first thought about really getting sober,
Yes. Take
I
us
was
back a little bit
okay. I'll take
back
it back.
to the beginning. Hmm.
Yeah. So I take it back
Yes.
when I was so depressed. I was so down, depressed, and so I was just down. I just because after my daughter, I hated life. I didn't fit nowhere. I was a master misfit. I didn't fit here. I didn't fit in the family. I didn't fit with my friends. I wore glasses. I couldn't. They said I couldn't fight. I was never smart in school. Everything was so. And I'll tell you one thing about me in school. I was about in fourth grade. Now my father didn't play. He was a militant. He was. My father he had two businesses. He had a. He was one of the engineers. It was engineers from North Grumman. He created the MX missile launcher. He was a very intelligent young man. Or very intelligent young man. He was smart as a what mathematical genius. And he kind of wanted me to be like that. I just wasn't. So when he sent me to college and I didn't do that good, he kind of kicked me to the curb. He kind of kicked me to the curb. But I threw back at him. That's because to go back. I was always told by him that I'm sorry, that I'm no good. He doesn't know what's going to become of me, and all these things. And these are the things that stuck with me in my head. These are the things, and some of the other things are the pain, and that's more of the pain that I never talked about, and I held it in. So that one day that let me back up a little further. Let me start. I was 19 years old. I had never had a drink. I was never sociable. I was never social. I didn't like people. I wore glasses. I thought I was ugly. I didn't like. I was quiet, very quiet. And when we had graduated from high school. My friend I went to Mississippi. My friend Ronnie. I was never social with cards and playing cards and nothing like that. And scared of girls. And he said, "Take a shot of this." It was about a Serum gin. I'll never forget. I drank cigarette gin until I threw up. And the first thing I said, let's get another one. I was hooked. I said, man, now I can talk, and I could play with girls. I could be cool. I could curse. I was real square. I could curse and all this stuff, so it made me feel like a man. Well, now I'm a man. I want to drink, and then so later when I got to rehab, I'm gonna have to. I can't do this anymore. What am I gonna do? So I'm back there, and I'm all alone. I feel like I'm all alone, and nobody in the world is. I thought I was the only one in the world. That's why I create the book. I thought I was the only one in the world who had this kind of problems. I thought I was the only.
So drinking what made it easy for you to
Oh,
socialize, Donald?
oh yes, definitely, 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 and even now,
And you
like
became more popular with the girls?
right, yeah, oh yeah, because I was always handsome, but myself inside, I just didn't have nothing. If you were a girl, if you hung with me alone, you figure it out. you go the other way. And I tell you, it got so bad for me, Denise. Everywhere I went, I was running from responsibility. I didn't want to pay bills. I didn't want to be responsible for anything. So I would always find some woman to stay with, until they got tired of me and they kicked me out. I got kicked out of every single place I stayed. Every single place I stayed, I got kicked out. And I bouncing around. My mother and father separated, and so me and my mother close. So I told one of my girlfriends, I said, go on, you gonna leave me anyway. She said, why would you say that? Why would you say, she said, I love you. Why would I leave you? Because all y'all, you gonna leave me anyway. So that stemmed way back from there. I always thought that I would always. So what I would do is I would create something to make her leave me. It would look like I was blaming on her, but it was just me pushing her away, but I didn't want to deal with pain, that same pain that I had suffered
Hmm.
when they separated. That was another pain that was long down
So
there.
what was rock bottom for you, Donald?
Rock bottom for me
What
was
would you say was rock bottom?
rock bottom. I moved to my apartment with one dirty pair of drawers, one pair of jeans, one T-shirt, and I was out. I think I was out panhandling one day, and well, let me. I learned how to speak to a lot of different nationalities because I was a guy who was at the gas station with a squeegee. Oh yeah, I humiliated myself. I was with the squeegee, and I got a chance to talk to people from all over the world where I was doing it, and I became. That's how I became. To be. It's easy for me to communicate with people. It's easy for me to tell you these things because I know how to talk to people. So I was uh, where was I? I was I was
You're
at
telling me about rock bottom. What
rock
was
bottom was
rock bottom for you?
rock bottom was after the world. I started realizing that the world was going forward, and I wasn't at a standstill. I was going backwards because how many in the world it's either going up or you're going down. You're either going forward or you're going backwards. There's no middle. There's no in between. You either getting your hustle on, taking care of life, or you going backwards. You're going backwards, and I was going backwards real fast.
And what do you
And
mean by you were going backwards? What does that
well,
mean for you?
I was
Share
going
with
backwards.
us what did that look like?
I was
You were going
repeating.
backwards.
I was repeating the same thing over and over, expecting different results. The drinking was one of the things that was causing the problem. I figured my
Mm.
drinking, I could overcome the way I was feeling about not being responsible, and all that just got so frustrating in me, and the fact I just got tired of being nobody. And even though if you're an alcoholic, even though how bad it got for me, there's always a light because God called me when I was a child. I was 5 years old. God called me. I never forgot that. So every time things were really, really hard, you know, even when I say that I gave up, I really didn't give up because it was always just a light, always just like ready for me when I asked, when I got to it. So I was so tired of everything, and I got fired from my job, and I didn't have any money, and I had this apartment, and somebody stole my car, and I didn't have no girlfriend. I just didn't have anything. I didn't want to live. I used to wake up in the morning and ask God, why did you wake me up today? I didn't want to see the sunlight.
Mm.
Oh man, I didn't want to. That's how bad I didn't want to see the sunlight. Would somebody please take
Yes.
me out of here? I was thinking. I would try to do the cocaine. Man, why the cocaine? Why don't you just take me out of here? I was got that bad. So how many know that the devil he pushes? He see what he doesn't know. He'll push you so much. You can't do that. But look, so what I had to call God. God, and I tell the
So
story sometimes. I make a joke about it. I
so
say,
so so what so who
well,
helped you, or was there a person that
okay,
helped
okay,
you
okay. I was
that
laying in
led
my
you
bed.
towards your sobriety?
Yes, it was. For one, but it was it was. I heard a guy on the TV set called Les Brown. I heard him give a testimony about how he was had been labeled retarded like I was, and how he had came out of that, and he was that good in school like I wasn't, and he defeated that, and it blew my mind what he said because it was like kind of like my story. So I started listening to him every day, and the things he was saying, and he's like, don't give up, don't stop, and if things get hard, life's hard anyway. Life is hard. Life is just accept it. Life is hard, and those cliches he would say like that. And I started listening to him, and it was Doctor Miles Monroe, because always had a spirit of Christianity, and he would he well let me slow down. I heard him when I was in Houston, Texas. I was homeless on drugs. I heard this guy. He said, "God finished everything," and then he started it. And I just for some reason that stuck with me. I said, "Man, that means something." So when I heard him talk, I heard his voice. He was from Trinidad or something, but I heard his voice. I said, "That's the guy. That's the guy who said that." I started listening to what his teaching. His teaching was I was like a sponge. I was just sobbing everything up, and he was talking to me. Let's Mr. Brown, they were talking to me when you hear somebody doing a sermon or a prep talk, whatever, when it's for you. For the first time in my life, I was listening to guys. I've never listened to nobody. I've never listened to nobody. I've never had a mentor. I never had a big friend. But these guys, I started listening to what they were saying. So they woke me up. Is what they did. They woke what they were saying, and I don't even know them. I've never met them, and they woke me up. And the all the things that I learned,
Right.
I've been in 37 programs, and all the things that I thought I was just going there for my health or whatever. But all that stuff that I was actually learning, and it started to come up. So it was like I went to college. So I took my experience, and I took the knowledge that I got there, and I said, well, I can make somebody. I can do something with this. So I took what the devil meant for me to kill myself, and I turned it around. I want to give it to somebody else and show them that if I could come out of it, I get saved, then they could too. Everybody. And this is my saying: God is a manufacturer, and no manufacturer makes anything until he finishes it. He finishes it, and he puts it out on a display,
Yes.
and it's
On the
got to be
market
right.
or on display. Yeah.
Right? It's got to be right. And God is the same with us. When He created you, everybody is nobody is a mistake. You weren't just put here. The people they know what I'm talking about. You weren't just put here, and you're out there drinking and using drugs. You're not just put here just to drink and drug. And I know you sit up with your friends and you yeah man and try to be cool and hip and all that. But when you go home at night or when you go wherever you are at night and you sitting by yourself and you and it sits in like is this what life is? This all life has to offer? I'm just an alcoholic and a drug addict. Is this all life has to offer? And those are not easy alternatives to accept. But if you want to, you have to be you have to want it. You have to want it like uh, Ms. Mr. Brown said. You have to be
I have
hungry.
another question, Donald.
Okay,
You got to be hungry. Yes, that's one of his favorite quotes.
that's right.
Donald, do you think that people's environment shape the relationship that they have when they are struggling with sobriety? Do you think that their environment helped to shape that relationship with, you know, alcohol and drugs and the struggle?
Oh, most definitely. The environment you live in. Oh, most definitely.
Like you
Because
were living in Los Angeles. Okay.
right, right, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just the city. Most of the city of Los Angeles is nice, but I went to the worst part, so it was the environments that I was in. But when you don't go to school, you don't make that much
Yeah.
money. That's where you end up in the ghetto. And mind you, like I didn't even know what a ghetto was when I was little because I thought when I heard JJ on Good Time say, when it's a ghetto, none of the cars have hubcaps. Now that's I thought I see hubcaps. I didn't know what a ghetto was. But when I ended up in Skid Row, California, and that is the worst to me. I used to drive a truck all
Mm.
over the country, and that is the worst place. That is the
But
worst
that's
place.
so different from where you came from, right
Right.
now?
That is a result of alcoholism and drug addiction. And see, like I said, the cessation is so elusive. You after time you can't differentiate the truth from the false. Your alcoholic life seems to be the only normal one. You become restless, irritable, and discontented until you can take the ease and comfort it takes at once by taking a drink or a hit, and you do it over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's all you know. So you got this monkey on your back. You don't have nowhere to stay. You're irresponsible. You're nasty. You're dirty. I mean, what do you do? What do you do when you just don't have nothing? I tell people when you get down to where you don't have nothing. I mean, you don't have nowhere to go. You don't have no clothes. You have everything you need to start. Amen. In other words, if that disease takes your
Mhm.
soul, the disease takes your soul. It takes your soul right out of you. Anybody in your way. You like a
Mm.
Tasmanian devil. Everything in your way. Now, when you want to quit, environment has a very
Mhm.
good impact on it because you have to associate yourself around. Even when I got sober, I was still down in Skid Row, but it was hard, but I had to associate myself around people that were recovering, people that were positive, people that are doing good. So you have to associate yourself with people that are positive. You can go to meetings, you go to groups, or you can go to church. But see, for me, so that's what I wanted to talk about. I want to I want to get a facility, a building, and I want to and have it where well, see, men we don't talk about our feelings. Most men don't. We just don't talk about feelings. We don't have feelings. We say, "Yeah, I'm a man." But when I start talking about my feelings, I realize that a lot of men
So
we never talk about our feelings. It seems punk or sissy. Man, what you told man? You said girl hurt your feelings, man. You better go somewhere. You a sissy. That kind of stuff. In reality, all of us get hurt. We get hurt. We don't understand. We feel lonely sometimes. We feel scared a lot. We just don't talk about that kind of stuff. So life. So that's what I meant by going. Life is still going on. I'm going backwards, regressing because I'm not standing still at all. I'm not looking to go forward. I'm just whatever happens happens. So I'm regressing. So actually, the disease was taking every. See, the disease wants to take everything you have. Some people call it disease. Some people call it the devil. It wants everything that you have, and then when you don't have nothing left, it wants that too. So you have to really, really be beat down. I mean, you have to really be. And then, let me say this: there's no magic wand. There's no magic voodoo. There's no magic way. Even God Himself is not going to come down here and just you're super. No, it doesn't have it. You got to work for it. You got to work for it. Uh, and it's simple.
you got to work for it.
You got to work for it. It's simple, but not easy. So you have to do things like write books, or join programs, or volunteer at different things, different events.
Hmm.
But the main thing you need to tell on yourself.
Yes.
You need to tell it like a TIA, as I remember they say. And when I got on that microphone on YouTube, I told it like a TIA, and men are still seeing
Yes.
me today. I was in the Target the other day. Guys, hey, Lewis. They used to call me Lewis. He said, hey, Lewis, man, I heard what you said, man. He said, you got a lot of balls, man, to say what you said. I told him, and sometimes I would get on the mic and I would say, you could take, some people come to me about my show and say, you should have said that. I should have said it. I tell them, you could take what I say on the air and you could do what you want to do with it. But I'm getting set free. I'm getting off of it. I'm getting off my back. I'm getting it out there. So somebody that went through the same thing can stop and say, hey,
Donald,
man,
what surprised you? What surprised you the most once you became sober about
what
yourself?
surprised,
What
what
surprised you the
surprised me was how
most
good life,
about yourself once you became sober?
once I became sober, what the big surprise was that no matter how far from home you go, you can always go back spiritually. And no matter how bad it gets, as long as you
Mm.
wake up in the morning, that you can still live. You still have another chance. That God's grace that God put up with me all this time just allow me to get away with this, and somebody didn't kill me for the stuff I was stealing or what I was
Mm.
doing, and my family didn't kick me out of the family altogether. because my family was dying, watching me kill myself. They were dying, they were dying because I was dying. And I couldn't see it. And then when I could see it, it was too late. So when I started to see everything, when I started to like I say, tell on myself, and I started being honest, like I said before, being honest. That's what the best. When I learned to being honest was the key. You're getting it out. You have to tell it. You have to tell it. If you're in pain, you got to tell it. Being honest was one of the greatest things I got of it because it makes it easier for me to communicate with people because I don't usually when I communicate with people. I won't look people in the eye because I wouldn't dare want you to know what I had done. Oh, if he looks me in the eye, you know what I've been through, you know what I've done. I wouldn't dare look at people. Now I can look people in the eye. Now I can look when I because I'm kind of doing the right thing. Now I'm not no saint. I'm not perfect. I didn't just jump off. I had my bumpy roads. Now when I first started along, it kind of got kind of bumpy. I could relapse a couple times, but the one time now I have it, and you're never in the clear. I'm gonna say this to people. You're never in the clear. Once you have that alcoholism, it just doesn't go away. I know where this lady in meeting I went to, she had like 40 some years sober. And she said, what happened was she went to a dinner and they had the champagne going around the table. And she took a drink. In a week, she didn't have nothing. She sold everything she had. So she came back to the meeting and the pain and the remorse and the guilt is oh, that's what I want to say about it. If you
So
think
it's a
that it's
daily battle.
it's a
Even
daily,
now,
it's
it's a
daily, it's a
daily
daily
battle.
reprieve. Yeah, also it's also a daily reprieve contingent upon spiritual maintenance. Every that you have to use every single day. You have to keep in conscious contact with some kind of power other than you. I don't want to direct you to. There's no. You may not believe in God. You may call your God something else. I may believe in another way. Well, when in the beginning, you need to find something other than you to depend on because you have to know that you. I'm a, for example, a
To
minister
believe
told me
in,
this one time because I kept
to
relapsing.
depend
He said,
on. Mm.
if until you realize, and he said the F word, until you realize that he said, and there's nobody in this world can help you relieve you of your alcoholism. Not your mother, not your daughter, not your father, and not even you. He said, until you realize that, you're going to keep relapsing. I said, what is he talking about? That doesn't make any sense. But if nobody, no person can help me, then it's got to be somebody. It's got to be God. So that's what makes you come unto God. Well, I have to come unto God now.
Yeah.
So God has to be in my life all day long.
So you had
Right
to
now,
turn it over.
turned it
Hmm.
all the way over. And when I say turnover, I'm not saying some people say, how would you turn over? Some people would turn backwards. You don't turn backwards, you turn all the way around. You know, all the way around. You have to turn over, you have to give it up. It's not easy, people. It's
Donald,
not easy.
was it healing for you to was it healing for you to write this book, or was it just more challenging than
It was
healing?
challenging. It was challenging, and it was challenging, and it was surreal. The whole thing was surreal. It was I couldn't believe I'm writing, but the both publishers, the platform you have set down is so it's professional. It's it's fun. You make it fun, and it's not easy, but it's difficult. But you know how to. It's what's the word? I'm glad I did it with you because if it had been anybody else, if it had other than Bold Publishing, I wouldn't be able to do it. I would have dropped out a long time ago. But your method of teaching is dynamite. So that had a big part of it. So well, anyway, when I wrote the book, I was going through some of the pain, and I think sometimes you knew when we would go to class, you kind of picked up on it, and you would kind of bail me out of certain things. I knew I kind of knew. I want to say I kind of knew. So the program that you have set up, not to jump on the subject, but that's what we're talking about is the bold publishing is oh god I've never sat down for 10 minutes and wrote nothing. So but that helped me out a lot, but I saw it helped me to see I really didn't go as deep as I wanted to because I was writing a book and I wanted to catch the attention of everybody, not just I can write I'm thinking of writing another one that goes deep to talk to the real hardcore alcoholics, uh, but they too can get something out of the book I wrote. I had no idea that I could do that, and I'll sit back reading my book, and as I go back over it, I'm like, God, I can't believe I'm telling you, I can't believe I did this. So going back to God, with everything He creates. Everybody has a potential. Everybody has more potential than they could ever think of. And now I
Yes.
found my passion. I found some more potential in me by writing that book. I got to share. I got to share I got to teach somebody to help somebody. That's my passion now to help people. I want to heal and help. I told somebody I want my where every word that comes out of my mouth or what I'm in conversation with the alcoholic, the addict, or whatever, I want to be create principles, purpose, and prosperity in everybody I talk to. That's my goal and my passion. And I learned that right here at both publishing.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you, Donald. What did you want readers to take away from this book?
I want readers to when you listen to my story, because I go kind of deep some place there. Listen to the family stories that I tell. Listen for the similarities. Don't listen to it wasn't that bad for me. It wasn't that bad for me. No, no. Listen to the similarities. When you get the similarities, then you'll understand the book more. Listen for the
Yes.
similarities. I want you to identify.
Yes.
I want to give you I want to give you the problem. So my problem, so you can identify. Well, I suffer from the same thing. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So I want to be able to tell things that they can identify with. See, I want to put something together where we can go to
So,
in our program.
Donald, how do you stay sober now?
First thing I do in the morning is die. Paul says I die daily. I got to give him take me out of the equation. God, it's all about you. What can I do for you? And I emphasize on that. I told God one day before I met somebody who told me in both public, I said, God kept asking me, "What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?" And I said, "Man, I want this Porsche. I want to get my daughter this big house." And I said, "Wait a minute. I don't want any of that stuff anymore." I want to know why you made me, what you created me for. What do you want me to do? I want to serve you.
Yes. What's your
I messed up
purpose?
all my life, all those years. Now, what do you want me to do? I'm going to be on your side. And I get emotional. I met this young lady, and she heard my story on YouTube, and she said, "You need to write a book." Me write a book? So that was God answering and she was there just long enough to convince me to write the book because I denied it first. And then after she convinced me to write the book, she was gone. See, God has ways of doing things like that. He'll put people in your life for a season, just to and also I'll help that person also with my advice. So it all worked out, and
Yes.
it
Someone in this season to plant the seed. He'll put
right.
someone in the season to till the soil. He'll
There
put
you go.
someone in the season to help you grow. And he'll put someone in the season that you are bearing fruit. God will
Right.
always put someone in your path to help you with
Oh,
the right season for you, the season that you're in your life. He'll
right.
put the right person there at the right time.
That's right. The Bible says all things work together for the good that love God. All things work out for the good for those who love God.
Hmm.
And also says in
So,
Hebrews 1,
Donald, what
go
about
ahead.
what about the person who is really struggling, but their desire, their true desire, is to find that peace that you talk about, to find that
Mhm.
purpose, and to be the person that can be transformed. How do this person get through the hard time now?
By humbling yourself and knowing that
Mm.
it's not going to always be like this. See, God made everything in seasons. We have a season where things go bad. We have
Hmm.
so just hold on because it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It has to because that's just the way it is. There's a lot of physics and everything. It's bad for a season. It's good for a season. It rains in the wintertime, and it's
Yes.
bad for the summertime. So you got to hold on and wait out. You got to have patience. That I know it's hard. I know it's patience.
Winter must be over.
Yeah.
One day winter
It's
will be
gonna go.
over.
I guarantee you. Is if you keep living, it's gonna get better. It's going to get better. It's got to, and you got to know that. You got to believe that. You got to believe that deep down in your heart. You have to know and believe that. You have to convince yourself, and also you have to meet yourself. Denise, I didn't know you have to meet yourself because most people have never met themselves before. I didn't know this me.
Hmm.
I didn't know this me. I mean, who is this? If you didn't show me
Meet
this,
yourself.
what I'm doing now, when I was out there, man, that's not me. That's not me. Who is this guy? I had to meet myself. Me myself would allow God to recreate me.
Wow. Yes.
To me myself and God to recreate me, and I had
Wow.
to allow Him
So
to recreate me. So
Donald,
every wait,
what what role did faith, purpose, and service play in your transformation?
faith, I had to have faith in anything other than me because I was a mess. The best thing I could do in my life is get a drink and a hit. That's just that's flat. That's the best thing I could do. So I had to put my faith in something or somebody else to carry me out of that. But I had to know that
Greater than you.
I know it
Hmm.
can't be me. So I had to have my faith in something or somebody else, and I had to trust in that entity, thought, or deity, or whatever. I had to trust in that every day, every hour, every minute. You have to break it down. I live in 24-hour segments. Somebody, how long you been sober? I don't know. I get when I somebody asks me how I got 5 months sober. Ooh, I go to drink. I got 2 years sober. Oh, I go to drink. I don't know. I keep up with it. I got to be sober right now,
You
right
just
now.
keep trying.
And keep
Yes.
trying. Don't ever
Yes.
you don't give up. But you have to.
So,
You have to get a network of people. You have to get a net. You have to have somebody
mhm.
who, when you talk to him today, he'll know when you BS. You lying. You lying. You're not telling me. Somebody can call you on your stuff because we don't. When you become alcohol, you become very manipulative. You're very manipulative. I'm saying it right. And man, oh my God.
Okay.
So you need somebody to call you on that. If you want to get better, you have to have somebody call you on it because me, I forget. I forget. You know. And
So, Donald, if you could sit down with younger Donald, that
mhm,
7-year-old you, the version of you before you had that disease,
mhm. And I
and the version of you before the issues became, the world became so heavy, what would you say to that 7-year-old self of yours? Right now, you're looking back at him. What would you say
I would tell that
to
7 year
him?
old kid, the world is not against you. The way you perceive everything around you is not negative that way. That's the way you think, and because you had something happen to you when you did I tell you about my father and hit me with the belt because I didn't learn school? I had a problem in school one time I couldn't do it. I was
Mm-hmm.
in the fourth grade. I told my father I couldn't do it. I got my ass whooped. You mean you can't do it? I got my ass whooped 4 times. I vowed never to say again, never tell nobody I couldn't do it in school. I'm not never telling a teacher that I can't do it. I can't do something. From that day on, I never did it. So I would
Wow.
tell myself, don't let
So
that.
what can you tell him now?
I
Yeah.
could tell him, don't don't let that one event that happened dictate the rest of your life. Go if he could teach you,
Ooh, say
go
that
learn from
again,
somebody else.
Donald, because that is powerful.
Don't let that one event dictate your life, because from that day on,
Mm.
that's what brought me on into when I took the drink. I couldn't feel it anymore. I didn't feel that way anymore. I just, wow. I let people dictate my life because I had no purpose. I had no purpose. I didn't even know I didn't have no purpose. To me, I just get up in the morning. What are you gonna do? Whatever.
Wow.
What are you gonna whatever? No plan or nothing. Just I would tell myself, you know,
Wow.
study, pay attention to school. Um, don't take everything so personal. Don't take everything I took personal. And don't think that you're the only one that goes through problems because other people go through the same thing too. You're not singled out. You're not a misfit. You have a purpose. You were created. Your manufacturer put you together for a reason, like everything else here in the world. Nobody creates something for nothing. It's just, it doesn't exist. Everything is created for something, and you are too. And you got to know that. Find it within yourself and stand firm on that. And don't let nobody. I call it a zone now. Don't let nobody get in your zone. If anybody gets in my zone, I'll let you in there.
Donald, there are 3 questions that I love to ask all my guests, and I don't want you to go before answering these questions.
Okay.
What's one bold promise that you can share with the audience?
Well, one bold promise I can share is that if you find a way to recover, like I have through writing a book or whatever, doing something different, stick with it. Don't give up. See, most of the problem, our problem is we give up. Don't give up. The bold promise to myself is I'm not going. I wasn't going to give up to write this book, and I did it, and I'm going to help numerous numbers of people all over the
Don't
world.
give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. I got
Don't
you.
give up.
Now, what is a bold statement you can share with the audience that will cause a paradigm shift?
Well, a paradigm shift. Uh, if you well when you become an alcoholic, your patterns are you can't see, but your way of living is so deep, it's so what do you want, what's the word for it? It's it's so it's so um
There's a pattern.
it's a negative pattern. It's a pattern, but you need you okay, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you sleep, everything. When you get sober, it's only one thing you have to change, Denise. It's
Mm-hmm.
everything,
Yes.
everything. So that's what I would say. If you want to get clean, you got to change one
What's
thing, and that's
that? What's
everything.
that?
Everything. One thing changes.
If you
You
want
get
to
it now?
get change, you got to
If you
change
want to
one thing,
change,
and that's
there's only one
everything.
thing
Oh,
to do to change,
Donald
and
came
that's
preaching
everything.
today. And
And
that's
that change is
everything. Okay,
mhm,
because the way you do anything is the way you do
everything.
everything.
That's right. That's right.
What is a bold move that you would like to make in the future? Something that you are dreaming of doing, something big. What's that, Donald?
I like to I like to write another book. I like to write a book on not so much recovery, but on the human nature, why we do what we do, even when we're not talking about drugs now. Why we don't do
Mm,
why are we more perceptive to things we're not supposed to do than things we
right.
are to the psychology of it. So I can get into because I'm kind of I don't talk about it much. I've always been like a kind of psychic. I can read people, and when I was little, I used to do it all the time. And it kind of scared me, but I want to learn how to harness that and use it to to help people, um, and to just to make life better for somebody else. Like I told God, I want to help everybody. I want to help everybody. I just want to do the right thing and teach somebody else how to do the right thing.
Yes. Beautiful Donald Lewis Banks. Thank you for your honesty, your vulnerability, and your strength. And thank you for writing your book, I Stand Corrected: How I Got Sober. Donald,
And
tell people where can they find your book?
well, you can find my book. You can go on you go. I'm on Facebook, and I'm going to it'll be on Amazon. You can go to Amazon. Amazon will have my book. I stand corrected. It'll be
Amazon.
yeah, Amazon. Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere on the internet, but he's you can get it through his book, his website,
Yes.
and his website is not published as of now, but it's being worked on. So you can go to boldpublishings.com and just
Mm-hmm.
look for the book cover, look for the book name, I Stand Corrected: How I Got
Okay.
Sober by Donald Lewis Banks. It will be on our website on in our bookstore, and then once you click it, it will take once his website is up, it will take you directly to his website once it's up because he's still working on it now. So guys, you can get his book. It's available online now on Target and Barnes and Noble and Amazon. So you can get his book now, but if you want a signed copy, you can go to boldpublishings.com and get a copy of Donald's book and support him. He has come a long way. He is a true giver and a really good motivational person. He's encouraging and inspiring.
Thank you.
Donald, you are amazing. And we here at Bold Publishing, we love you. And especially here at Bold Book Podcast, we thought your book was just a wonderful inspiration to
Thank you.
those who are struggling. And if anyone is out there, if you know someone that
Mm-hmm.
you love that is struggling with addiction, listen to me. That person can be healed. Healing is possible. Like Mr. Les Brown says, it's possible. Healing is possible. Healing is possible. Healing is possible. So please tell your loved one or talk to yourself. Healing is real. And it's possible for you as well. And you are not alone. You are not alone. Donald is curating a community right now where people can come and share their story and get emotional. Men, you can go over there to Donald's community and
That's right.
share and get emotional. You don't have to, have the answers. You don't have to know it all. This, in that community that he's curating, it's a safe space for men to just be themselves. So guys, be sure to go over and grab your copy of I Stand Corrected: How I Got Sober by Donald Lewis Banks, and you'll find that link, well, somewhere in here. And please go and support Donald. Share this podcast if you know someone who wants to get sober, and share it with them so that they can be encouraged to talk about it. Okay? Let a conversation be start that can change someone's life because you did the right thing. You shared a link. Okay? I thank you guys for listening. And if you have an idea of writing a book and you just don't know where to start, go over to boldpublishings.com and schedule yourself an appointment with me, and we will get you in the writing incubator so you too can learn how to get your book idea out of your head and onto paper.
Thank you for joining us for the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a central hub and a safe space for authors to share their stories. Follow Dr. Denise on Facebook and Instagram at Denise Nicholson, or go to denisenicholson.com. Remember, no one can share your story better than you.